wants to die alone. They don't want to miss the show. It's funny time missed us both. We all got time when we will go. Saves and beyond.
Hi, nice to meet you guys. Um, so today is gonna be another reactions video. Um, we're gonna be reacting to a video from Jubilee. This the what I will say. I feel this is the channel Cruise got their inspiration from. I've been a long time fan of Jubilee. But why today's video stood out to me is because it was this Dr. Mike. He's a very popular YouTube personality. He's an actual doctor, family doctor, and he still practices. So the video is Dr. Mike versus 20 anti-vaxxers, and it just felt like it would be an interesting video because I know this is Dr. Mike is someone who will be knowledgeable in this area, and let me see how he's gonna go about answering the prompts that are presented to him. So we're gonna get into the video. I don't want to take too long. The video itself is about an hour and a half long. I will include the link in the description to the original video. I'll include a link to Dr. Mike's channel. I think you guys should check him out.
He's not necessarily anti-vaccine, but he wants safe vaccines.
Yeah, so I'm pointing out that I think RFK Jr. is a threat to public health. You're saying he's being hypocritical.
Yeah, he's being hypocritical.
Absolutely.
And
do you know who the #1 hypocrites are? Healthcare providers.
The reality is, if we don't get vaccinated with Jesus, we will face God on Judgment Day.
And also, sorry, before we go on, guys, let me know what you think of this new background. Like, how do you guys like the new setup? I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, just let me know. I want to kind of get an idea of how you guys feel. So yeah, so we'll go back now. Continue. So claim number 1: anti-vaccine lies cost lives. Okay, that's Dr. Mike's first claim. Okay.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Doing fantastic. Excited to talk about health.
I just had a baby, 7 months old. And, you know, my baby, I was like, no, I'm not getting any vaccines. The doctors came in, they made me feel like a very bad mother for not doing that, right? I was very pressured. And then I had a family friend who had a baby at the same time, was a few months in, gave vaccines to the baby, and the baby had seizures and has had seizures since. And I've also had a friend who I went on a mission trip with, and this pastor was totally healthy, two young girls, and this pastor literally got a heart attack out of nowhere. And the only thing was he took the vaccine. And there's many cases like that.
Well, first of all, congratulations on the birth of a 7-month-old. The fact that anyone made you feel bad in the healthcare system, I feel like is a failure on us.
I think she's confusing correlation with causation.
Because there are so many unknowns and there's so many variables in healthcare. There are things that are that are outside of our control. And we try to do the best with the limited amounts that we can control. So when we see two things happen simultaneously in healthcare, sometimes we think they have caused one another. But unless we see a pattern of that happening over and over again on a large scale, it's more likely that this is just a coincidence of things happening at the same time. For example, I have a friend of mine who's a physician who vaccinates children.
Okay, I like this. So Dr. Mike is basically giving her the breakdown of, I like this. You guys should really watch this video.
Their life and ended up actually dying at a very young age because of a seizure disorder. The vaccine was never given. Had that happened 2 minutes later, what do you think would have been in the mother's mind and in the father's mind in that situation? Other than, I definitely think that vaccine caused that problem. But it could have just as easily happened before, which it did, and the vaccine wasn't responsible. So it's very difficult when two things happen at the same time to be able to make an exact reason as to if that's what happened to cause it. So what we do is we admit that there's safety issues with vaccines.
Right.
They're not 100% safe. Nothing in life is 100% safe.
I love the way he explained that. I love the way he explained that. I just like it. Like, very detailed explanation. Pretty much broke it down. Like, made it clear that yes, because it seems to correlate that your friend's baby took a vaccine and now that baby has ongoing seizures, doesn't mean it's this vaccine that caused the seizures. I hope I don't get too trippy because as you guys will see as we go on, I'm not I'm not a fan of anti-vaxxers. I've always thought they are very problematic. But you'll be surprised the people who you support and like also do not believe in vaccines. I feel like I feel like we live in a world where like 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 to think that we would cure polio, we would sorry I say cure, we would eradicate polio, eradicate measles, pretty much eradicate chicken pox, smallpox, all those diseases that used to be prevalent just like a century ago, to think, or even maybe less than a century ago, to think that we would pretty much eradicate them from most parts of the world. But then people who are born into a world where those diseases no longer exist can actually stand up and tell you, oh, the thing we used to eradicate those diseases and we have to keep taking in order to make sure these diseases don't come back are the things that are putting their lives in danger. It's like it's this weird juxtaposition. It's like I don't know. It's like someone who, when they prescribe them a medication, and the doctor says finish your medication, but you don't finish the medication, and then the illness or whatever it is, like for example, if you're in Nigeria, right, your malaria then comes back like 2 3 weeks later, and then you're going back to the doctor again to go and get new prescription. Like it, I don't get it. It's like doesn't make sense to me.
I am a pediatric hematology oncology nurse.
Wow, okay.
Oh, okay. She's a nurse and she's an anti-vaxxer. That's that's unique.
I think a lot of mistrust in my eyes were opened during the whole COVID pandemic.
Why?
Institutions that were there, I used to be in the military, so
Ex-military as
when I was
well.
in the military, I signed my bodily autonomy away. If they told me to do something, I did it.
And thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks.
No, I say that in all seriousness because I think a lot of times that kind of becomes habit just to say thank you, but I really do mean that thank
Well,
you.
I appreciate that. So, seeing, how Dr. Fauci, who was just pardoned, and that's a whole other discussion, seeing how we were sold a bill of goods that we, the American tax dollars, paid for, while these pharmaceutical companies reaped millions and millions of profits on.
Fact
And I
check.
think
So the US government spent about $30 billion in taxpayer money for developing and distributing COVID-19 vaccines during the pandemic. Most COVID-19 vaccine makers saw a significant COVID bump in profits. Yeah, that's true. And that's always raises skepticism. But it not only happened with almost every major company. Look at the richest people in the world list. They all got significantly richer after during the COVID period. Their wealth literally ballooned from Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, um, what's the other guy's name? Amazon, Jeff Bezos. He got richer. Oracle got richer. That's Ellis. They all got richer during the pandemic. I like how that math works
And
out.
I
Me too.
think
I
that
don't.
caused the goalpost. Oh, the vaccine, this mRNA vaccine, it's going to prevent the transmission of COVID. It's going to prevent you from getting it. And others, if you don't get this vaccine, you hate your grandmother. You're going to kill all these people, and you got to do your duty and get it. Well, you know what? My grandmother got it, and she died. I saw her take her last breath.
I'm sorry.
And it's a very it's a very profound thing to
apologize.
see someone that you love take their last breath and go on to whatever happens after.
Of course.
So when those seats, and it turns out the 6 feet of social distancing was not based on anything, how can you not expect people to question these higher institutions that are deemed to look out for the well-being of people, and they don't?
It's a great question.
So just like with Black people who don't trust the government because based on the Tuskegee experiment in 1932, actually 40 years after that,
Fact check. The U.S. Public Health Service untreated syphilis study at Tuskegee. Oh yeah, I remember this. Man, sometimes I wonder, and I ask myself, like, well, but then maybe I do answer my own question because I wonder, and I'm like, how is it? I feel like I want to think, like, how do Black Americans not just sit down and be like, you know what, we're good, we're just gonna go somewhere else. But then I'm also like, why should they go anywhere else? Like, they literally bled and died for the country during slavery, when they were fighting the world wars, the Jim Crow era, not this the multiple experiments they did on Black people. Why would I go anywhere else? My ancestors, my people have literally bled for this. We've died for this. We've been lynched for this. We've been castrated for this. Like, we've been jailed for life for this. So where am I going to? Like, I kind of understand it, but like, it just breaks my heart. And I'm someone who, like, there was this period in on I think it was that 20, I can't remember the era, before George Floyd though, where every week there was a new shooting of a Black person. Now, upon hindsight, now that I'm more media literate, I realized I was in a bubble. Like, my social media were trapped me in this bubble where every week they served me up the latest Black person who got shot by the police or harassed by the police. But it just that I remember that period of my life. Because I was living in Canada then, I was just so scared. Like, I was like even till today, like, anytime I see someone in a uniform, I'm just like, my goal is just, I want to end this interaction as quickly as possible. Like, don't get me wrong, doesn't mean I'm gonna lie down and like bend over and take whatever you wanna give me, but like, I'm not trying to question you. Like, oh yeah, you stopped me, no problem. What do you need? You need my papers. Can I reach into the glove box? There's nothing in there, it's just the papers. Or you can turn around, I'll put my glass down, you get it yourself. Like, I'm just trying to end the interaction. I think it's so fucking sad. But let's finish this. It said the US Public Health Service. The US Public Health Service untreated syphilis study at Tuskegee was conducted from 1932 to 1972. That's like less than 50 years ago, or just about 50 years ago. On black men age on black men ages 25 plus. The study was supposed to observe the natural history of untreated syphilis. So they infected people with syphilis and purposefully did not give them a cure or the treatment, so they could see what exactly
the New York
syphilis
Times,
would do
they
to
actually
a
infected
human.
them with syphilis, and they let them infect their families, their friends. It ran rampant. So how do you expect certain people, when they've been burned by the government, to all of a sudden, all right, well, I'll trust you now? Ultimately, it's people's choice. Just like if someone wants to
It says researchers did not collect informed consent, misled the participant, and denied treatment even when remedies were readily available. The study did not infect the participants with the study did not infect the participants with syphilis, but allowing the infection to continue untreated meant dozens of wives and children, Jesus, also became infected.
Refuse a treatment, we give them an AMA form against medical advice. I think it's all up to people's choice and their autonomy.
The study was ended in 1972 after a whistleblower leaked information to the New York Times. Participants won a $10 million settlement. Yeah, sure. $10 million. That's what I'm going to look forward to. In 1974, in 1997, President Bill Clinton issued a formal presidential apology.
There was a few topics that you touched that I think are really worth discussing. First, bodily autonomy. I believe that, and that is the sole principle by which we practice medicine. Vaccines fall in a unique category because your decision on vaccinating your child and then sending them to school can impact other children in that school. So much like drinking and driving as an example, your choice to do that puts your life at risk, but it also puts others at risk, so we deem that as dangerous for the general public. This is why vaccines, it becomes a little more complicated when we talk about bodily autonomy. When it comes to our government, our mandates, pharmaceutical companies, there's absolutely reasons for distrust. I love that everyone in this room is a skeptic, and I encourage skepticism. I don't think anyone should just go into a doctor's office and say yes, 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 yes. In fact, I love when my patients question me. I empower them to ask questions. Doctors sometimes get this attitude where they're like, oh, you Googled before coming here? Google search doesn't replace my degree. No, that's not how we're supposed to be. Yeah. What I get excited about is if you Googled and you have questions, now I know exactly the route I need to take to help you make a decision that's right for you and your family.
Okay, pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Nice meeting you.
Oh, RFK Jr. The motherfucker that somehow became the health secretary or secretary for health or whatever the hell they call the position, but had a worm in his brain and sounds like as if those people who smoke so much they have like a pipe like coming out of their neck that is constantly connected to oxygen. How they sound. That's how he sounds. I don't know how anybody sees or listens to that guy and thinks, oh, yeah, this is a guy I need to trust. Ew. Yuck.
Hello again.
Hello again. I would like to start by saying that HIV does not cause AIDS. AIDS is actually brought on when your white cell count goes below 200.
Yes,
So to
and
say
what
that
gets your
HIV
white cell
causes
count?
AIDS is
Fact check.
inaccurate.
You cannot get AIDS if you are not infected with HIV. That's more than enough proof that HIV causes AIDS. Human immunodeficiency virus can infect and destroy immune system cells until your body is too weak to fight off diseases. Acquired immune deficiency syndrome is the final result of HIV. As per, have you played Pokemon? HIV is the base Pokemon. You like Pikachu, you like Charizard, you like Geodude, you like whatever, whoever is the person you like. When you get them, you can evolve them. And when they reach their final evolution, the HIV version of that is AIDS.
Information is actually when your blood cell count goes below 200. I do agree some things he says skeptical, such as climate change is real when we know that there's weather manipulation weapons and patents.
Weather manipulation weapons. Baby girl, they are salt pellets that are thrown into the air. Relax.
However, majority of what he says about vaccines is true. When there's so many, have you heard of Dr. the military doctor Teresa Long?
No.
She said that spontaneous abortion went up 300% in the military after they mandated the vaccines. There's been several doctors that have came out and spoke of the adverse reactions. So how is it that vaccine skeptics are the villains when some of the top doctors, some of the doctors that help create PCR tests, some of the doctors that have worked on vaccines have came out and said they're unsafe and we should not give this to our family and friends. How is it that he's a villain? How are we a villain if some of these vaccine creators and scientists are the ones saying we should not get it?
Is there anything I could say today that would change your mind?
I'm just asking your opinion.
I'm asking you a question.
Probably not, because I actually read and study.
I really like the way Dr. Mike is handling this, by the way. I mean, I already told you guys I like Dr. Mike, but I'm really impressed with the way he's taking this interview.
Well, if I can't change your mind,
I
how?
just want to know your opinion.
Yeah, so I would like to give you my knowledge, my experience, and what I've seen in the hospital system. But if you're telling me right now, no matter what I say, you're not going to change your mind, is there any value to that?
Well, I like to study everybody's opinion. I don't like to just say, I believe this, and not further investigate everybody else's opinion. But when studies show the unvaccinated are actually healthier and the vaccinated are the ones that...
A scientifically flawed, sorry, another fact check. A scientifically flawed survey of unvaccinated Americans claims unvaccinated children have fewer instances of chronic illness than vaccinated children. The survey did not seek control factors, for instance, soliciting response from vaccinated and unvaccinated groups in the same manner. Again, media literacy. Devon, this lady, I think her name is Devon, she's clearly trapped in her own information bubble. She's clearly trapped in her own media bubble. And it is sad to see because the only person benefiting from this is not her, it's not her kids, is the owner or the CEO of whatever platform that she consumes her information from. If that's X, that's Elon Musk. If that's IG, Facebook, WhatsApp, that's Zuckerberg. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's YouTube, that's Google.
that are getting COVID and dying and getting heart problems, and over 100-something athletes that got the vaccine got heart problems after being perfectly healthy. I think it's unsafe and actually more so villain-like to say it's so safe and call people that are anti-vaxxers skeptics when over 100 athletes that are perfectly healthy are injured. Over who knows how many in the military cannot have kids or have had a spontaneous abortion or everything because of this. So I feel like it's an unfair statement to say he's a villain or he's unsafe, but then continue to say you believe the vaccines are safe and effective when millions have died or suffered from adverse reactions. So I'm just trying to understand your perspective.
Yeah, my perspective is, if you, like the American Medical Association put out that over 90% of doctors got vaccinated. There's no epidemic of doctors having negative outcomes, dying at alarming rates.
There's saline shots as well. There was a doctor in Australia that came forth and said that at least 10% of the vaccines that were going out were saline shots.
In 2021, a medical clinic in Melbourne, Australia, apologized to 30 patients who came in to receive the Pfizer vaccine within one 30-minute window, saying some of them may have received a saline injection by mistake. There is no evidence to suggest 10% of vaccine administered anywhere were filled with saline. So the clinic came out and said, oh, we mistakenly injected people with saline instead of the Pfizer vaccine. But somehow you consumed that news or information, and it was fed to you that this meant 10% of the people who got vaccines, right, received saline.
And this has been proven by an Australian doctor that some of the shots that were going out were saline shots. So how are we to say that some of these doctors didn't know ahead of time of Agenda 21 and got a saline shot? It's kind of impossible
pause.
to say.
Sorry, you've been voted out by the majority.
Okay.
Thank you.
I really like that everybody in this conversation is cordial. Like, I wish I could show this to Sally. I wish I could show this to Sally. Like, and I'm sorry I'll keep bringing her up, but like, this is just as interesting as a conversation as the one Sally and what's his name, Odomodu or Rudiment. Sorry, I say Odomodu, but Rudiment we're having. Well, not just two of them, but you get what I'm saying. It's just an interesting of a conversation, but guess what? Everybody here is cordial. Yes, I clearly disagree with your point of view, but you're gonna get a handshake when we are done talking because I respect that you even gave me your audience in the first place. Like, just basic courtesy.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Pleasure.
Nice to meet you. My name is Michael.
Michael. Yeah, their namesakes. Michael.
Um, I kind of bring some curiosities for you. So, in 2010, my mother was vaccinated with the flu vaccine. And right after 3 days later, she received half of her face was paralyzed. And the doctor was actually expressing that it could have been a number of things. It could have been what she ate, whatever. But at the end of the day, she most likely believes that it was because of that flu vaccine back in 2010.
Again, causation versus correlation. Because your mother's face got half of it got paralyzed before she after she took the vaccine does not mean it's the vaccine that caused it. Did she not eat food those 3 days? Are you going to now say because your mother ate food, like what? If she didn't take the vaccine, would you blame it on her food or on the fact that she went to take a shit or use the toilet? What are you talking about?
Assuming again that we've had roughly 20 years of flu vaccine studies going around. So my question to you is, how is it possible that someone could potentially get Bell's palsy 3 days after she got a flu vaccine, which could have permanently allowed her face to be paralyzed for the rest of her life, versus someone who got it and maybe didn't have those symptoms that I'm explaining?
Yeah, so Bell's palsy, interesting condition because we oftentimes don't even know what caused it. A lot of times we think it has a viral cause. Now, if your mother in this situation believes that the vaccine was to blame for this condition,
Yes.
there is a way for her to get compensated for it because vaccines do carry side effects. I am not your mom's doctor, so I wouldn't know all the circumstances surrounding it, which vaccine, which number dose, what other health conditions existed, what medications were being taken. There's a lot to take into consideration because health has so many variables. And even when she has her own doctor, they might not even know the right answer. That's why when you apply for this vaccine injury compensation fund, it's a no-fault system with no jury, meaning that they're trying to do their best to get people paid out as quickly as possible. Because if you were to sue a vaccine manufacturer, it would take forever. It would take huge sums of money for your mom to be able to fight that case. But by applying to the Vaccine Injury Compensation Fund, you're actually able to get payouts on average 2 to 3 years, which is much faster than going through a full jury trial. So this is all to say that vaccine could have caused that side effect in your mother. I can't say yes or no, but if it did, she should be compensated. The fact that that compensation exists, I think, is a good thing, and I think it shows that we're honest that vaccine side effects absolutely happen.
Now, the other thing I do want to kind of ask, is it true that you as a doctor, you follow a certain code of conduct?
Sure.
Do you ever say that
Yes.
there's things that you say that have to be political? Or
I have been critical of the CDC, the WHO. I've been critical of Dr. Fauci. I've been critical to Dr. Fauci in front of him, sitting at interviews.
All right, let's end there. Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, pleasure.
How are you?
Nice to
Dr.
meet you.
Mike. My name is Janelle, and I'm also an educator. I'm a conscious sex therapist, so I deal with longevity, preserving the body. And so I think the real villains are people like Fauci, right? Did you know that his salary is like $500K, and the highest they said, and he's worth 11 million? Crazy. Maybe he's getting the rest of that money. And then let me go on just real quick.
Sure.
And that something interesting I thought too when you were talking about the Vert studies, that there said that there's like 40 million adverse reactions, not including the death.
Americans have reported to VERS slightly more than 1 million adverse effects after getting COVID-19 vaccinations, not 40 million. VERS is a passive reporting system and may contain information that is incomplete, inaccurate, coincidental or unverifiable, according to the CDC website. All states have laws requiring certain vaccines for students to attend school. 5 states do not allow personal or religious vaccine exemptions: California, Connecticut, Maine, New York, and West Virginia.
Being one of them, sadly, Mississippi and West Virginia. So we were not able to
See
just
a lot
say
of these
listen,
vaccine preventable illnesses because of vaccines. Smallpox, polio, measles for the most part, all these vaccine preventable illnesses are no longer seen. And that's partially why that if a single person doesn't get a vaccine, they end up not getting the illness.
But that doesn't go against your, okay.
I'll just finish that point because it's so valuable. And you're sharing the story about your child, and I'm so happy that because I never want a child to get sick, period.
Of course not.
I have people in my practice, because I'm a family medicine doctor, I treat children and adults, who are 95 years old, 100 years old, who have smoked all their life.
Yeah.
And they're healthy.
They're healthy. It's weird. I know. It happens.
But does that mean I'm going to use that as a reason as to why I shouldn't discourage people from smoking?
I understand that, but the herd immunity concept, this brings me back to my next point. I used to get like nailed to the cross before he was vaccinated. And even when he did, I'd only let them do one at a time. Because the problem is—
How much did you pay for the vaccines?
I didn't. Remember, I'm poor. I'm on welfare at this time.
So, look at this.
So I was forced.
We're paying for medical care to prevent and save you the trouble of an illness.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I really enjoyed this, guys. I really did. Go watch this video on the Jubilee channel. Subscribe to their channel. Subscribe to my channel. Comment in the video. Like, I really want to know. Are you an anti-vaxxer? Are you for the vaccines? Really think about it. Why? Just give me one reason why you are an anti-vaxxer. Why are you a proponent for the vaccines? Like, let's have a dialogue. I want to understand, because I'm a proponent for vaccines. Now, at least for vaccines that have been tested by time, meaning my kids are definitely getting measles vaccine, smallpox vaccine, chickenpox vaccine, polio vaccine. That's standard. Am I going to let them get the COVID-19 vaccine? I don't think so. Except maybe if by the time I have my kids, it's been time tested. But I think for me, vaccines are important. I think it's just safe medical practice. I can't deny the fact that before vaccines, there were all these illnesses and diseases and today, after vaccines were created for these diseases, no longer exist. So I think for me, it's you can't look down on the importance of these. So let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. So please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.
It's funny time missed us both. We all got time when we will go. Seems to be over.
New videos uploaded every week. So subscribe, like, share, and comment. Thanks for being here. I hope you enjoy the journey.
Seems to be over. Never seems to be over. Seems to be over.